What's up, guys? I'm over here on the TBN Supertoon, and we are just moored, anchoring, and enjoying our time. We're anchored and beached, but we're completely off the shore, and the tunes are not touching any sort of ground. We're just kind of hovering in place. And how is that? With the Lewmar AXIS. We made our own custom mounts here. Now, Lewmar makes mounts. We've seen them on their actual Lippert boat. They head over here at ToonFest, and that's where I got the idea to make them for these, since this platform was completely custom. You know, I just wasn't sure we're gonna pull it off. We could have put it down there at the motor mount, because they have motor mount ones there, and those work really well on the bass boats, but just the way that the tune's offset is so far back and how low the motor sits in the water, I was worried it wouldn't be right. So here is the little, almost a 2-inch flex cushion spot here, where if the waves adjust and it puts significant pressure on the spike, this will actually spring in a few inches just to kind of help adjust with the waves. On top of that, the entire spike is stretched. I don't know if you can tell, but this anchor is like pulled and it's actually tilted. This anchor can flex tremendously. Tremendous amounts of flex. The aluminum frame on the chassis itself will flex pretty dramatically in order to hold spike and hold tension. And so as the boat has been moving, there's not a whole lot of wind and a whole lot of wake, but there is some, especially when boats are running in through here and boats are moving in and out of these docks. This is our all-new linear actuator, 3-stage linear actuator, very powerful. Just as powerful as any hydraulic unit out there, without the mess, without having to find somewhere to mount the pump. You just gotta mount a little control box. The control box is genius. It's like super small, easy to mount anywhere. You can attach it anywhere with 4 screws. You can cover it, uncover it. The pairing process is quite simple with the whole thing. There's the RF pairing button inside the little box. You press it, and I want you to see how much this is flexing right now. It's flexing pretty tremendously. As the waves are pushing us, or as we're receiving new waves from the boat, see that anchor is pushed in there and it's flexing. It's under pretty tremendous pressure, but it will not break. These are rated for much, much bigger boats, and this is a pretty big pontoon boat. It's about as big as it gets. Well, not as big, but it's pretty big. They don't get much bigger than this. I've had these Lewmars here for a while. They are phenomenal. They're just truly one of a kind. I saw them when I was on Nate's boat at Busey Break in Louisiana, and I had to have them after I seen them. I was all about the Vectors, the Lewmar Vectors, because we had made different, like, non-motorized shallow water anchor versions, just like the Vectors. When I tried the Vectors, I thought those were pretty awesome. I was all about them, all about not having to worry about the motor, worrying about, you know, relays and control boxes or hydraulic pumps or any of that nonsense. I didn't want to do any of it until I actually saw them in action, watched how easy they were, watched how strong they were. And then what really sold me home is I met with Garrett, one of the lead reps of Lewmar and Lippert. I met him down here at ToonFest here in Lake Havasu, and I actually got to see these on a pontoon boat. And that's when I was really just truly sold, and I had to have them on the pontoon boat. When he showed me how strong they were, when he showed me how much they flexed, and there was other fail safes, like the shock cushion to adjust with the wave heights. No hydraulic boxes for that to go by, because let's be honest, like those always at one point in time, whenever you had a hydraulic anchor unit like this, it was not if, it was when. It was eventually gonna go bad and spill into your compartment and go all the way down your boat. And you were gonna have to figure out what you're gonna do with all that busted hydraulic fluid, on top of having to retrieve that anchor, which is now useless. The linear actuators, these are serious linear actuators. They're very robust, complete marine grade, extremely reliable. The units have fail-safes in them themselves within the box itself. It's got its own control board that controls the anchor, and they sense when enough certain tension is actually put down on the ground. So that's determined by the control board. And so the anchors know when to stop. The anchors also know when to stop when you retrieve them. What you see here with the anchors on the back of the swim platform, that's a nice little luxury. A bigger luxury is if you can make them flare out. So we have ours flared out. So it's really grabbing about 16 foot of area between the anchors. Now you can make them run in directly vertical, and that's been done a lot. I mean, a lot of bass boat guys do that, where they run completely vertical. Obviously with 2 anchors, that's still generally enough to kind of keep the boat pinned, but the wider the grab, the better it is. So you definitely see when the motor mount for the anchors are on, they kind of stick out. They don't go straight back, they kind of go out to the side. And that's so they can get sufficient grabbing force. The wider grabbing force, the better. So I stuck them at the widest section of the pontoon, but on the pivot, so I could flare them out to the side. So I have about 16 foot of actual grab space. And this boat is a heavy boat. It's all aluminum, the whole thing. And so having that extra grab space really helps in the wind and the currents and everything, because this boat does get carried in the wind like a sail. It is annoying, but it is much more doable with those things. As far as actuation goes, each motor has its own remote. You can control them, you can pair them onto one remote, or you can pair onto two remotes like I did here. I paired to two remotes here because the sheer amount of space that I have that these grab is so wide that there's gonna be some situations where I can only deploy one, and I don't want both of them to go down at the same time. You also have the option to have them in a latching mode, where you press it once and they go all the way down until the computer reads that it's got sufficient spike pressure into the ground. It could be just easy as one button up and one button down every time. For me, because I like the extra control, I like the momentary on. You can wear it like as a necklace. They come with lanyards, so you can have them and you wrap them around your wrist, you can wrap them around your neck, so they can just be there at will if you're taking them up, on and off like a lot of bass fishermen do. Or they have a little holster, which, you know, if you can mount that anywhere on your dashboard, on a side door, or in a little side space like I did, and it pushes right in there and locks in, and it's more or less just turns itself into its own stationary button. So I have two remotes rigged like two stationary buttons, one for each anchor, and I love the setup. So that wraps it up for the Lewmar AXIS, which, in my opinion, after using them extensively, is the best way to pin your boat in the shallows, period. But they really only pin the back of the boat. The front of the boat still does its thing, especially depending on high winds. So there is an ultimate way to really make your boat stick while you're in water, not beached or not docked, but you want your boat to stay completely still. You need an anchor in the front, like this Lewmar Venta, which in my opinion, the ultimate low profile, out of sight anchor they make. Stay tuned for that video coming up next.